It's lovely to see you on what is a rather damp, grey Wednesday over here. I think it was about 2 degrees when I was out walking this morning. But it's January, so what do we expect? I hope you're all well, and we've been reading that the vaccine is starting to be rolled out with you guys as it is over here. So please hope that it's a bit of cause for some optimism, which will be great. Now we are visiting the amazing county of Cornwall this afternoon, and I've got a couple of questions to ask you, which I will leave to the end, but I'll be very grateful for your contributions. And I'll try and do this without my glasses, and it'll all go horribly wrong. Right. Now, Cornwall is probably one of my favourite places in the world. It's a tough call. I mean, Gloucestershire, where I was born, is beautiful, but Cornwall is absolutely fabulous. And the wonderful thing about it is, I mean, a bit like the Chilterns and the Cotswolds, that there is such a plethora of things to suggest for your clients. So if you have clients who love walking and stomping through the countryside and exploring the cliffs and the beaches and so on, obviously there's lots of that. There's fabulous history at every turn, which we'll talk about. And also the most amazing gardens. I mean, there really are some stunning examples. So nature loving, walking loving, history loving clients are all beautifully served in Cornwall. So it is a large area. So what we've tried to do is highlight some of our favorites, the places where we get the most enthusiastic feedback from our clients, just to give you a bit of a feel. So as you can see from the map, it's a funny old shaped county, very long and thin. So what we work really hard to make sure that your clients don't spend the entire time traveling, because as you can imagine, it would be quite easy just to keep sort of having to jump in the car. And not being funny, the roads in Cornwall are not the best. The vast majority of them are probably one car width, to be honest with you. As a friend of mine who lives down there says, she spends more time going backwards than she does forwards, because you're constantly having to try and weave your way past other cars. So it's the planning of the itinerary is absolutely key, and then they get to see all of the best bits for them without spending lots of time in the car. And the other great thing that I think has really come to the fore probably in the last 5 to 7 years are some fabulous new hotels and restaurants. So there are some really wonderful places to stay. So we thought we'd share a few things that Cornwall is famous for, just in case you needed a reminder. A really good Cornish pasty is just fantastic. There are some awful imitations, it has to be said, but when you get the real thing, my golly, you know about it, and it's absolutely fabulous. Stargazy pie is a rather weird looking creation. It's a normal pie, but it has, as it says, these heads of pilchards that stick up. Now, the real thing is real heads, but the vast majority of examples you'll find are actually sort of China versions of them, but it just looks a little bit odd. Now, Poldark has done wonders for Cornwall. I think they did the most amazing adaptation or new adaptation of the series, and from my understanding, I mean, we've certainly arranged a fair few Poldark tours for our wonderful American visitors. So we keep being told it's very, very popular. We can't guarantee the fabulous, I've had a complete mental blank about the actor's name, but I can't guarantee he'll turn up, I'm afraid. But you know, they'll get to see all of the amazing scenery and so on. The beaches, not surprisingly, because of the sheer shape of Cornwall, there are a heck of a lot of beaches. And again, if they want the nice, bustly, busy ones, or tiny little private coves where they won't see another person for days, the choice is theirs. Yarg is a fabulous cheese. I don't know whether they export Yarg. I mean, we certainly get it in Henley, but I don't know how far away it goes. But if you can get a hold of some Yarg, really, really recommend it. And then the ongoing debate about cream teas. Do you put the jam first or the cream first? We're not going to go there, but it is the home of the cream tea. So you can't go to Cornwall without having a Cornish cream tea. That's for sure. So let's start right over in the west. And Penzance is it's the biggest city, most western city in the UK. Has a couple of fabulous festivals, as you can see. And there's just some stunning history and so on. We'll come and talk a bit more about St Michael's Mount and so on. But there are some beautiful private tours within the city and on the coast as well. It's quite a long way down. It's quite a drive. It's probably about 3 hours additional driving from once you get into Cornwall. So it's not on the doorstep, but it is absolutely beautiful. It's just lovely. St Ives is the art centre of the Southwest. It's probably got the next biggest art community after London. There is the Tate St Ives, which I will be very honest with you, personally speaking, I think I've been 3 times, and it hasn't got better each time. I probably shouldn't say that. It's very quick and easy to visit, and so, you know, your clients are very welcome to go, and we'd always include it on a list, but it is quite odd. But my favorite artist in the world is based down in St Ives. I found her by accident years and years ago, and just love her paintings. But there are little artist studios at every turn. You can just sort of pootle through the streets and find some amazing art, literally all tucked away. So it's glorious if you've got art lovers. And as you can see, the Barbara Hepworth Museum, which is incredible, absolutely amazing. The sculptures are to die for. And that's just a hop, skip and a jump away. So it really is beautiful. There's a fabulous hotel that overlooks the main town. So if you've got clients who like the idea of being in St Ives and being able to go to the restaurants but don't want to be in the busy hub, there are a couple of lovely hotels that just sort of sit and look down over it, but an easy walk. So rather lovely, and particularly for the art. Now, Falmouth is I think the biggest city in Cornwall, and it's just absolutely stunning. If you've got any Daphne du Maurier fans, then Frenchman's Creek is. I'm trying to remember. I think it was must have been 2019. That we had some clients coming down, and I told them about Daphne du Maurier and Jamaica Inn and Frenchman's Creek and all of those other fabulous books, and by the time they arrived, they'd read all of them, so they were better informed than I was in some of the cases, but they absolutely loved them. And it's a wonderful place just to get out onto the water and really sort of soak up the atmosphere of Cornwall. It really is just wonderful. Now, St Michael's Mount is amazing. It sits on a tiny island, and the causeway appears at low tide. So you can pootle across to St Michael's Mount, which is really, really worth doing. It's absolutely stunning. And we have arranged a visit to St Michael's Mount and its French twin for one client, and they said it was quite magical seeing both in one trip. But you've got some other really fabulous options nearby. I mean, if your clients are down that way, we always recommend the Lost Gardens of Heligan. It was an extraordinary accidental find that is just incredible. I mean, the work that's gone into the restoration is just wonderful. And there's lots of sort of history and fabulous stories to be told down in that part of Cornwall. It really is just lovely. Now, this is the site of, if you're a Poldark fan, you will certainly recognise the theatre. They use this a lot for filming. Now, if you can imagine watching, I don't know, a bit of Romeo and Juliet, a bit of Taming the Shrew or something similar, being performed with the ocean as a backdrop. As you can see in the picture, the grass bit to the bottom of the picture is where the clients sit. I mean, it's a theatre experience like no other. It's absolutely amazing, and it's just wonderful that they put on performances throughout the summer. So if your clients are down there at that sort of time, we'll always tell you what's going on, because there won't be another experience like it. And as you can see, again, for the history buffs, the Telegraph Museum outdoes actually an awful lot of museums. It's impressive, really impressive stuff. So just wonderful and well worth visiting. Now, Hotel Tresanton has really done its bit, and Olga Polizzi of Forte family fame has certainly made her mark. It's absolutely amazing. And for sailing or just walking around, walking up to the lighthouse and so on, it's you just sort of feel you feel like you're in a different world, and it gets rid of all of your worries and your cares and all the rest of it, just being around there. So if depending on the itinerary, we will often recommend that as a place to stay. Now, Padstow has obviously been made incredibly famous by the incredible Rick Stein. And I think Latest County has 4 restaurants. I think there's everything from your sort of Michelin star through to a takeaway. It's a posh takeaway, but it's a takeaway. So you can go and buy your fish and chips and sit on the beach and just listen to the waves lapping on the shore, which is rather lovely. For clients who want a really authentic Cornish experience, we don't recommend staying in Padstow because I mean, what Rick Stein has done for the area is fantastic, but obviously it means that all of the trappings of beautiful hotels and all that sort of thing have happened with him being there, which is wonderful if your clients want that sort of thing. If they want the really sort of rugged, rural, escape from it all type Cornwall, then we'd certainly recommend a visit for lunch or something, but probably not to stay. But for dining options, it's fabulous in both Padstow and just across the channel, going across to Rock as well. The house prices in Rock are comparable with up here. I think it is now the most expensive place down there. It's quite extraordinary. So there are some rather fabulous houses, it has to be said. Now, one extreme to the other, talk about wild and rugged and remote and so on. The Lizard Peninsula fulfills all of that, and it's our most southerly point, and it really is just amazing. You know, there's nothing beyond you but the ocean. Again, if we're taking your clients down that far, then it's certainly worth a visit, but we wouldn't necessarily recommend it just for as a one-off. But it's rather quaint and very old English. And then Land's End is has been a bit more developed, I guess, because everyone wants to go to Land's End. We have lots of people doing charity walks from Land's End to John O'Groats, the two extremes of our little country. But it is absolutely beautiful and quite an amazing feel to stand there and look out. And there is a fabulous sort of coastal path, as we said. There's a beautiful coastal path that you can follow, and on a beautiful summer's day, it's just wonderful. This is also where there's some fabulous wildlife and bird watching. So if you have clients interested in all that sort of thing, then we'd certainly recommend a visit. Port Isaac, you may well know, this is another fabulous TV series where the location has become part of the starring cast. If any of you have seen the comedy programme called Doc Martin with Martin Clunes, it is set in Port Isaac, and it's just wonderful. It like so many Cornish villages, you have or towns, you have the sort of beachfront and the restaurants and so on, and then it just sort of goes up and up and uphill, which is makes for a good, interesting walk. When you've had a good lunch, it doesn't do you any harm. And I have to say, the last time I was in Port Isaac, probably 3 or 4 years ago now, there was a little restaurant right on the beach, and I had the best mussels I've ever tasted in my life. So we will make sure that your clients really experience the best of the food down there, because obviously all of the fish is as fresh as you can imagine. So if they are looking for a good old traditional rustic pub, or a lovely little sort of beachside restaurant, we'll obviously share all of the best for them, because it's those little hidden places that are often the best and serve just fabulous food. It's just lovely. Now, Newquay is on the north coast, so the opposite side, and Newquay has become a real sort of surfers paradise. It's quite a busy town. The great thing about Newquay is it has an airport, and there is a direct flight from Heathrow down to Newquay. So for our clients who just want to start down in Cornwall and work their way up through Devon, Somerset, Wiltshire, and up into the Cotswolds, it makes life really easy, because you can land from the States, jump on a plane, and I think it's about 50 minutes later you're down in Newquay, which is a great way of doing it. And Newquay is it's quite young. There's a strong surf culture down there, and I'm sure you know what I mean by that. And it's fun, but it's again, it's a real sort of tourist draw. So I used to go surfing actually, but not in Newquay. I used to go a little bit further up, and we'll do a session on Devon. But on the North Devon coast was a fabulous little village called Croyd, and we used to go surfing in Croyd Bay. Not sure I could quite stand up nowadays, but it was great fun at the time when I was a bit younger than I am now. But Newquay is fun, and it's probably worth spending a night when they land. I'm sure you're aware the Eden project is quite extraordinary. And we always recommend it, particularly for clients who visit Cornwall out of season. So out of the school holidays, it's just wonderful, because you really can have a good visit. It does get very busy. We can arrange private tours and so on, but it's so hugely popular that it's obviously very well visited. So give us as much warning as you can, but again, if your clients are in that part of Cornwall, we'd really recommend a visit. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before, and quite an amazing achievement. So yeah, it was a wonderful story behind it. Now, Bodmin Moor is also Daphne du Maurier country. Jamaica Inn was in the heart of Bodmin Moor, I seem to remember. So it is for those who really love the sort of rugged outdoors, the countryside. I mean, our guided walks can obviously be designed for every level of fitness, and we will happily do so. But it's quite extraordinary. It's an amazing place to visit. There's huge amounts of history from all the settlements all those years ago. But it's just a place that you want to go and almost get lost, but you don't want to get lost, but you know what I mean. It's quite fantastic, and it's a huge area of land, so we can, you know, sort of come at it from any side really. So it's been a bit of a whistle-stop tour around Cornwall, and in terms of accommodation, there are some beautiful hotels, but the hotels, we always try to explain to our clients that the hotels down in Cornwall are not what they would expect in London or even the Cotswolds and the Chilterns and so on. Cornish properties really have their own style, and which makes it very special and makes them wonderful to stay in. So 5-star in Cornwall can mean something really quite different, but there is something for all likes and preferences wherever they're staying. But something else that has grown, I think, and certainly during all of the staycations and so on last year, is the growth of really amazing self-catering properties. I mean, some of the locations of these houses and apartments and so on is quite extraordinary. Now, I appreciate not everybody likes their self-catering, so obviously we can, for clients who choose it but still want all of the services, we have all of the food and drink delivered, and everything is done for them. It's just they are self catering, but we, you know, obviously with chefs and butlers, and the food and drivers and all of that sort of thing can be easily provided. But it just offers a slightly different option, and we found particularly popular if there's a largish family group or a group of friends. So we will recommend our favorites depending on what your clients are looking for. Now there are a few fabulous estates, and we've just listed a few here. As I mentioned earlier, some of the gardens, the houses and gardens in Cornwall are extraordinary, and we had a lovely family group who were coming over just to do a gardens tour of Devon and Cornwall last year. So we're hoping that they're going to come back and do it. If not yet this year, then next, because and I'll happily share the itinerary with you. We put together a fabulous itinerary. I mean, the gardens that they were going to were absolutely amazing. So if you've got garden lovers, it's definitely a good place to go to, and combining it with the private tours around the private estates as well is a historian and gardener's dream, to be honest with you. So there's a little bit of as I say, a little bit of a whistle stop tour. So I now would be really, really grateful if you would let me know what you would like to do next, because officially next week we had planned in to talk about a couple of the amazing driving tours that we've created. So the Great West Way and so on. Now, we're obviously happy to do that, and we will do it. But when we were putting this together for today, we talked about how best to share the information. And we haven't focused in so much on Poldark, because that almost, well, it is a tour in itself. So our fabulous partner in crime, Sarah, who was born and brought up in Cornwall and has it running through her veins, will join us next Wednesday if you would like us to do a really good in-depth Poldark tour for you, for those people who really sort of want to follow the trail. I mean, everybody who's done our Poldark tours absolutely love them. So please, could you just let me know, I mean, either in the chat now, or please just drop us an email. Would you like to do next Wednesday the Poldark tour, or we can stick with the driving tours. If we do Poldark, we'll just push the driving tour back by a week. So we do these obviously for you, so it's entirely up for you. We've had one vote for Poldark. So anyway, if you could let me know. Oh, Barbara, yeah, Poldark. Okay, it's looking like it's probably a popular choice. Now, I also have another question for you. We have put together some rather wonderful at-home experiences, and I would love to ask for your help and advice about whether you think you've got British loving clients who would love to experience some fabulous, oh, Deborah says yes too, thank you. If they would love to experience some amazing, very quintessentially British experiences at their home in the States. So it can be anything from, if I give you an example, if we have any Bridgerton fans here or Downton Abbey fans here, creating an amazing Downton Abbey stroke Bridgerton style picnic, picnic afternoon tea, and it to really down to every last bit of detail, from the china to the tea ceremony and all of those sorts of things. And Morris, Lord Morris Fermoy, who some of you will know quite well now, will join them, and he will talk through via Zoom the etiquette of afternoon tea, a little bit about the history. Do you put the tea or the milk in first, and all those sorts of things. Similarly, we can do whiskey tasting with the renowned whiskey expert Charlie McLean, fabulous forestry experiences. So if you've got clients who are either locked down or because of health reasons really just don't want to risk any traveling and that sort of thing, would they be interested in doing a virtual English style, quintessentially English style experience? So if it's okay, I will send you through our ideas and a bit of a description as to how it would work. And I would be hugely grateful for your feedback, because we obviously want to do this in such a way that the clients will benefit and the clients will love it. So I'd be hugely grateful for your thoughts, please. Oh, thank you, Todd. Oh, brilliant. Okay, that's wonderful. So I will send you the details, and I really look forward to having a bit of a chat with you about your thoughts and how we can use them. So it looks like we have votes for Poldark next week. So we will. Sorry, anything with Morris, absolutely. I know he's just wonderful. Next week we will be joined by the fabulous Sarah Marshall, who and the two of us will talk you through the wonders of the Poldark tour. So thank you so much for joining us today. And doesn't it feel great that there's a bit of optimism on the horizon? We might have a little way to go, but not too long, I hope. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye bye.